Tonight on Cronkite News, with just days to go, Arizona lawmakers still have yet to pass a budget. What that could mean for the people of our state.
Plus, Maricopa County sees a 30% increase of people living on the streets. Find out how one local organization is trying to help the unhoused.
And a few familiar faces take a swing at the MLB Combine right here in Phoenix. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Patrick Renault.
And I'm E. McFarland. Thank you for joining us.
With the July 1st deadline fast approaching, the state legislature still has not passed a budget. And with the Senate already adjourning for the session, is a deal still possible?
Eddie McCoven joins us now in the studio with what's next for state finances.
Well, the deadline for the state budget, you guys, is going to be next Tuesday. That's it. And so far, there's no funding to keep the state government running. The House met today, and while members voiced concerns about their budget, no decision was made. This after the Senate passed a bipartisan plan last Friday. That $17.6 million plan was negotiated with Governor Hobbs. After passage, the Senate adjourned for the year, but not before voicing frustration with their counterparts in the House.
We should have passed a budget 2 months ago. We had the votes to pass the budget. Today, tomorrow, the votes are there. The votes are there. And they adjourned. Instead of voting out a budget, our only job down here, they left. What we're doing is absolutely appropriate. We have a budget that has the votes, and when the budget gets there, it will pass.
Well, the House previously passed its own $17.3 billion budget without any input from the governor calling that plan dead on arrival. And the governor also says she'll veto the House continuation budget, which means we could be headed for a government shutdown.
So, Eddie, what's next in the budget process?
Well, the House Appropriations Committee is actually going to meet tomorrow, and they will begin drafting the continuation budget. So we'll just have to see from there.
Thank you, Eddie.
The other big story tonight, President Donald Trump says that Israel and Iran have agreed to cease fire. That will be phased in the next 24 hours. The announcement comes just hours after Iran launched a missile attack on a U.S. military base today in Qatar. Video of the attack flooded social media right after it happened. The missiles were aimed at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, but they were reportedly intercepted. Iran said the attack matched the numbers of bombs dropped by the U.S. on its nuclear sites over the weekend. Late this afternoon, House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke about Iran's retaliation.
The president warned them not to retaliate, but he was also very clear that the threat of Iran obtaining nuclear capability is a threat not just to Israel and the Middle East, but to the United States as well.
Arizona lawmakers shared a variety of reactions to the Iran bombings over the weekend. Maggie Wall joins us in the control room. Maggie, what are Arizona lawmakers saying?
Well, much of the reactions are predictable, along party lines, with Republicans supporting President Trump and Democrats being cautious. Most have released statements thinking about the troops.
Senator Mark Kelly posted a statement to X saying in part, "I'm concerned how President Trump and his administration made this decision to put pilots in harm's way and our country on the edge of war with Iran." While Arizona Representative Andy Biggs praised President Trump's decision on X and said, "I'm grateful our troops made it out of the Middle East safely. Iran must come back to the negotiating table." Republican Congressman Juan Ciscomani also praised the troops and Trump, saying, "Tonight, our commander-in-chief made the right decision to execute a successful strike on Iran's lethal nuclear weapons site." And while President Trump received support from much of Arizona's federal delegation, state Democratic senators put out a statement calling for no war in Iran, including the following: "Our nation is once again being dragged into a war in the Middle East, while the material conditions of the American people continue to disintegrate rapidly before our eyes."
Arizona's delegation includes a number of veterans, both Republican and Democrat, some of whom have been in combat, so there's caution in the language used around the conflict in Iran. Reporting from the control room, Maggie Wall, Cronkite News.
As the issue of homelessness continues to rise here in the Valley, many are aware of the effects homelessness can have on our communities. Cronkite News reporter Gabriela Salguero tells us about one mobile shelter that is doing what they can to make a difference.
On a weekday evening in a large hall at a Tempe church, staff from the I Help shelter work to give basic necessities to people experiencing homelessness.
Our I Help sites are rotating churches. So the churches allow us to use these facilities as an in-kind gift, if you will, and it allows them to, provide space to the community, assist us in helping this population.
Tempe's I Help Shelter is a network of faith and partner community made to bring back dignity and stability for those experiencing homelessness by providing nightly shelter, food, water, showers, and case management.
Brandstetter notes Arizona's homelessness issue is caused by many factors, including housing costs, economic struggles, and in some cases, social issues such as mental health.
Regardless of our age, regardless of who we are, what we do, we can all end up in the same situation, right? And we need each other to build each other.
The 2025 Maricopa County point-in-time count showed a 28% increase of those living on the streets rather than in shelters. One reason is the lack of available shelter beds. After federal funding decreased, Brandstetter mentioned community groups stepped in to help fill the void.
We are so blessed in the fact that these churches work with us to provide their space. Every one of our shelters, every night they get a hot meal, and it's provided by volunteers.
Brandstetter and the I Help staff try to feed and shelter 40 people every night. In Tempe, Gabriela Salguero, Cronkite News.
The I Help shelter is part of the Tempe Community Action Agency and is always looking for support and donations from the community. Coming after the break, many are turning to popular weight loss drugs to lose weight.
But some changes from the FDA may restrict which medicines are available. Find out how you can protect yourself against misinformation about medicine and what you should know about these popular weight loss drugs.
Plus, temperatures have been hovering around the 100-degree mark over the last few days. That's about to change. Find out how hot it's going to get when we return.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
3, 2, 1.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
I'm Eddie McCoven here in the Cronkite Weather Center. We've had some cooler temperatures over the past few days. They're going to stick around for the first part of the week until we warm up for the rest. Taking a look at your currents right now, we are in the 100s. We're going to cool down just slightly into those mid to lower 90s around 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And here's why. We've got a bit of a low pressure system that's actually moving its way up from Mexico, and it's going to give us some moisture in the air and give us some cloud cover as well and give us a chance for some isolated thunderstorms and some scattered showers, mostly though going to be down right here on the border near Tucson. That's where we're going to see it. Unfortunately, we're not going to see it up here in Phoenix. Taking a look at your overnight lows, though, those are going to be nice. 77 here in Phoenix, 67 in Globe, 67 down at the border there in Tombstone, 34 up in the Grand Canyon. Tomorrow, though, when the sun creeps out again, we are going to see those temperatures coming back up. 103 here in Phoenix, 77 in Flagstaff, going to be in the low 100s along the Colorado River Valley, 87 in Tombstone along the border. Taking a look at your 8-day forecast, we are going to be 103, 104, and 106 here in Phoenix. And as that high pressure system continues to move through, those temperatures will be creeping back up with an expected high of 111 as we roll into Sunday. I'm Eddie McCoven here in the Cronkite Weather Center. Back to you.
Recently, the FDA enacted new rules that will impact popular GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, particularly pharmacies that compound the drug. Brandon Cadiz joins us from the newsroom to tell us how consumers can stay safe when purchasing GLP-1 drugs.
Since late 2022, the FDA has allowed licensed pharmaceutical companies to sell versions of GLP-1 drugs that are not FDA approved. While there are dangers to compounded GLP-1s, there are also benefits. One consumer organization I spoke with says some individuals need drugs that are mixed for their body chemistry.
Say you have an allergy to an ingredient in a cough syrup or something. A compounded drug would strip out that ingredient, put something else in. Or you have trouble swallowing.
Glick says affordability is another reason consumers prefer the non-FDA approved drug, as it can cost hundreds of dollars less. But there are drawbacks. Glick and the NCL is concerned about misinformation on compounded GLP-1s.
Doctors don't approve drugs to come on the market, but it sounded good. And people were sort of led to believe that if doctors approved it, that was because the FDA had approved it.
One survey says 71% of the people polled said they believe compounded GLP-1s are only on the market if they were tested and proven safe. More than 53% think these medications received FDA approval. What can consumers do to protect themselves? Here's additional advice from the NCL. If a product says doctor approved and not FDA approved, it is likely a compounded version of GLP-1. FDA approved GLP-1s are not available in gummy, chewable, patch, nasal, or sublingual forms. And lastly, ask the healthcare provider selling you the GLP-1 if it is FDA approved, or do your own research and reach out to FDA approved manufacturers. At the Google touchscreen, Brandon Cadiz, Cronkite News.
Thank you, Brandon. According to Real Chemistry, Arizona ranks 50 out of 51 states and the District of Columbia for GLP-1 usage.
Coming up after the break, we follow one local soccer player. After already making the national team for deaf women, Holly Hunter plans to keep striving onto a new goal. We'll have more in the Cronkite Sports Report up next.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
3, 2, 1.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
Welcome to your Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Milexa Cardona. Big things have happened over the weekend. In a historic run, the NBA's Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy is going to Oklahoma. The Oklahoma City Thunder bested the Indiana Pacers Sunday in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The Thunder scored 103 to Indiana's 91 points. Oklahoma City forward and Gilbert Perry High School alum Jalen Williams helped his team win the title. scoring 20 points in addition to 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. The new women's professional soccer team in Arizona, Desert Dreams FC, is home to a former NAU standout and U.S. gold medalist. But she's not your average soccer player. Cronkite News reporter Alicia Armendariz has more on the humble determination of this midfielder.
From the day she was born, Desert Dreams player Holly Hunter was never treated any different despite her hearing loss. In fact, she's excelled at the game she loves despite being 100% deaf in both ears.
I had a lot of support from my family, which I was very lucky to have. So I think growing up, I didn't feel any different.
Hunter doesn't let her deafness define her. Rather, she pushes herself to be a better player. A member of the U.S. Women's Deaf National Team for 10 years, Hunter won a gold medal with the team in 2023.
She just had a really big drive, and I don't know if that was always in her or if that has anything to do with her deafness, but thank goodness she's got that personality to where she's just always driving and trying to be the best she can.
Hunter is much more than just a soccer player. On and off the field, she is an anchor for people to rely on, even for her own coach.
She's a great teammate. She's a great friend. She's a great leader. She doesn't expect to be in the limelight. I can't tell the difference between off the field and on the field because she's just genuine. And when you're your true self, nothing changes.
Throughout her career, Holly has never let her loss of hearing affect her. She sets an example for the younger generations, and she wants them to know, never let anything get in the way of your dreams.
Don't let anyone put limits on you. You can really do anything you set your mind to. Like, whatever goal you have, go for it. Don't let anyone stop you.
Hunter continues to be an advocate for accessibility in sports and hopes to be the first player to play for the U.S. Women's Deaf National Team and the U.S. Women's National Team. In Peoria, Alicia Armendariz, Cronkite News.
Hunter is currently in the selection pool to represent the United States at the Deaf Olympics in Tokyo this November. The MLB Draft Combine was in full swing at Chase Field. It's the 5th edition of the event as top prospects from around the world showcase their skills in the Valley. Our Kobe Mitchell caught up with some of ASU's biggest stars.
For the 3rd year in a row, the MLB Draft Combine was held right here in Phoenix. 322 players took part, and some of ASU's brightest stars were in attendance.
Just getting in front of the guys making the decisions, just getting the face to the name, and just telling them the last month or so of the season wasn't a fluke. It was what I can be and potentially be for you guys as a franchise. So
we get to perform in front of all the teams that are here, and then just meeting all the other talent that's around the country, kind of coming into one spot. It's we're all, I feel like, bringing each other up, and so rising to each other's competition, and it's a great spot, and it's a great opportunity to really showcase what we've got.
And the balls were flying off the bat for Brandon Compton. The Buckeye native put on a show at the plate, and the top 50 prospect hit the hardest hit ball in BP since 2022 at 116 miles per hour off the bat. But it wasn't just Compton who was catching attention.
Everybody here is important, so if you're walking through the halls upstairs or down here, you're going to meet somebody. I just walked in the dugout, said what up to Rajay Davis. Manny Ramirez just walking by, I'm just this is pretty cool. So.
And although Jackson didn't participate in the skills combine, he still has one ASU teammate that's looking to solidify his future.
I'm preferably go to the draft and play some pro ball next year. But if that doesn't work out, then I'll spend my last year at Arizona State and try to do it all over again.
The lights were bright and the bats were loud. And for baseball's next wave, the moment is now. In Phoenix, Kobe Mitchell, Cronkite News.
The MLB Draft will take place from July 13th to the 14th. The Washington Nationals will pick first, while the Arizona Diamondbacks will slide in with the 18th pick. The Phoenix Suns traded star power forward Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets yesterday. The 15-time NBA All-Star is being exchanged for a bundle of options. Houston received Durant, who averaged 26.6 points this season. With the Suns, the Phoenix Suns received 2021 number 2 draft pick Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, a lottery pick, and 5 second-round picks in this year's NBA draft. On to the Mercury, who won their 5th straight game on Saturday and set a team record with 17 three-pointers. Guard Sammy Whitcomb made 5 of those, while 5 other Mercury players made at least 2 each. The team also set a season high for points in a single game with 107 to the Chicago Sky's 86 points. The Mercury are second in the Western Conference standings, just behind the Minnesota Lynx. It's fast, it's fierce, and it's played entirely in power wheelchairs. Power soccer is breaking barriers and redefining what competition looks like. Cronkite reporter Lindsay Dean takes us to Ability 360 in Phoenix, where this unique sport is changing lives one goal at a time.
It's soccer on wheels with serious speed, spin moves, and strategy. That's power soccer. Each athlete uses a specially equipped power chair, outfitted for a foot guard to pass, defend, and shoot. It's 4-on-4, played on a regulation basketball court.
For the younger folks out there, it's like Rocket League. For the older folks, it's kind of like bumper cars meets hockey meets soccer.
Few understand the game and the impact it has had on athletes better than Tony Jackson, who's been playing since 2009 and now leads the Phoenix Rising team as both head coach and player.
Once you're on the pitch for power soccer, you are completely on your own. And so there's a certain freedom, there's a certain independence, there's a certain autonomy that is something that you can't really replicate with a lot of the other things that we do in our lives.
Ability 360 has been home to power soccer since 2012. Under the leadership of Jackson, the program has grown into a community and a powerhouse.
It's also pretty thrilling because we have the opportunity to go to the national tournament each year. I know that's my favorite part, is going and competing against other teams from across the U.S.
For some athletes, this year's trip to nationals is more than just another tournament. It's their first. Kai Rivas is one of several players making their debut on the national stage, and the excitement is hard to miss.
I'm so excited, but I'm nervous at the same time. So this will be my first year at nationals, but I'm so ready.
But power soccer isn't just about winning championships. For these athletes, it's about being seen, being challenged, and being part of a team that pushes them to be the best on and off the court.
It can be a lot more rewarding because there's no physical limits to what you can do.
Power soccer. For the athletes who play it, it creates opportunities and a sense of purpose far beyond the game. It's about inclusion, connection, and showing the world what's possible, one pass at a time. In Phoenix, Lindsay Dean, Cronkite News.
The Ability 360 Phoenix Rising team finished second in the President's Cup at the national tournament this weekend, losing to the Tidewater Piranhas 3-2. And finally, a big win for the Diamondbacks as the Arizona legislature passed the stadium renovation bill for Chase Field. The bill easily got through the House vote today and will now head to Governor Katie Hobbs' desk for signature or veto. Hobbs has expressed support for the bill that will redirect tax dollars from Chase Field and reinvest them into the stadium. And that's it for Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Alexa Cardona. Let's send it back to Patrick and Eve.
Coming up next, an unusual story.
We'll show you where the scales fall.
Wisconsin firefighters rescued a small alligator from becoming a Cajun barbecue dinner.
Milwaukee firefighters made an unusual
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it.
freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
Milwaukee firefighters made an unusual rescue over the weekend.
That's right, Eve. Milwaukee's bravest scaled up their rescue efforts when they saved one little guy.
They were at the scene of a house fire on Saturday. No one was home at the time, but firefighters did find a small alligator in the basement of the home that may have bitten off more than it could chew.
Firefighters said see you later to the baby gator when they handed it off to animal control for care. No other details about the animal were given. That's it for this edition of tonight's Cronkite News. I'm Patrick Renault.
And I'm E. McFarland. Thank you for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.